Hello, OWLs, and welcome to ACT Reading, week number 3. Today, we're going to review answers for the practice exam, review types of questions on the exam. You'll see your scaled score. You're going to get your first big performance tip. And finally, you'll see what's ahead for week number 4 and beyond. In order to review answers for the practice exam, you need to have your answers in front of you. Open your answers now if you saved them to your computer, or check your email for a response from me with your answers. You can also click on the link in the description below to access the practice exam answer form. Your answers have been released and you should be able to see them. You can also find a link to the pretest itself in the description below if you want to see the passages and questions themselves, not just your answers. I recommend having a piece of scrap paper with you so that you can write down the numbers of questions that you get wrong. I'm going to read answers out loud and show them on screen. Feel free to pause or fast forward this part of the video if you would rather compare answers without voiceover, or if you need to hear an answer again, you can make this part of the video work for you. Note also that A, B, C, D corresponds to F, G, H, J on the ACT. I will be reading the A, B, C, D letters, which correspond to the official answer form, but I have left the other letters up there just in case you need to see those as well. Number 1 is B. Number 2 is D. 3 is B. 4 is C. 5 is D. 6 is C. 7 is A. 8 is C. 9 is A. 10 is A. 11 is also A. 12 is C. 13 is B. 14 is B. 15 is D. 16 is C. 17 is B. 18 is B. 19 is A. 20 is D. 21 is B. 22 is D. 23 is A. 24 is C. 25 is C. 26 is D. 27 is C. 28 is A. 29 is C. 30 is B. 31 is D. 32 is D. 33 is also D. 34 is B. 35 is A. 36 is C. 37 is C. 38 is D. 39 is C. And number 40 is B. Now we can take a look at your scaled score. If you need to, you can pause this video to count up how many questions you got correct. This slide has a chart that shows how you would score on a scale of 1 to 36 based on how many questions you just got right. Remember that your scaled score matters more than your raw score for assessing how well you performed on this part of the exam. For instance, even if you missed like 11 questions, you might look at that and go, I only got 75% of them right. That's not good. But notice that you would still have a scaled score of 26. That's not bad. Remember that your overall ACT score, which is scaled from 1 to 36, is the average of your scaled English, mathematics, reading, and science scores. Now we're going to review the different types of questions that you're seeing on the exam. Remember that all ACT reading questions fit within one of 3 different categories, which include key ideas and details, craft and structure, and integration of knowledge and ideas. I'm going to read which numbers of questions fit within each category of question. I am also going to display the numbers on the screen again. Feel free to, again, pause or fast forward this video if you want to compare answers without voiceover, or if you just need to hear an answer again. You can really make this part of the video work for you. As we review types of questions, keep track of which categories are strengths for you, as well as which categories you still really need to practice, categories that maybe are a little bit more difficult for you. Consider circling which questions are within the key ideas and details category, underlining which ones are in craft and structure that you got wrong, and dotting integration of knowledge and ideas. We're going to start with key ideas and details. Hopefully you've gotten written down with you the numbers of the questions that you got incorrect, so you can go through and just mark which ones fall within these different categories. My hope with this is that you're going to see an overall pattern for a category that you perform well in, and then maybe also one that you maybe need to focus on going forward. Starting with key ideas and details, that will include questions number 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 11, 12, 14, 15, 16, 18, 19, 20, 22, 24, 26, 27, 28, 34, 35, 36, 37, and 40. That is by far the biggest category. Next is craft and structure, which includes questions 5, 7, 13, 17, 21, 23, 25, 30, 31, 32, 33, and 38. Next is integration of knowledge and ideas, which includes questions 8, 9, 10, 29, and 39. That is by far the smallest category. Now consider your performance overall. I've got a first big tip to throw at you. Go back and look how you did overall. Note that reading exams are always going to feature 4 different reading passages that fit within 4 different themes, and they'll also always be in the same order. They are also clearly labeled in the test booklet. If you go back and look, you'll see. The first passage is always going to be a piece of prose or fiction, and that'll always be questions 1 through 10. Second is social science, corresponding to questions 11 through 20. Next is humanities, which corresponds to questions 21 through 30. And finally, there is a natural science passage, which corresponds to questions 31 through 40. Go back and look which passages you did well on and which were harder for you, maybe which ones had the most missed questions within that. One strategy that you can use to finish the exam in time and to do well is to do the passages out of order. When you take the ACT, you're taking it with a paper booklet, and you can do it in whichever order you like. You can navigate within the reading exam, really however is best for you. Consider reading the type of passages that are easiest for you first, leaving the most difficult for last, so that you're prioritizing time for questions that you're likelier to do well on. For example, if you really killed it on, let's say, prose fiction and humanities, consider skipping social science. Do prose fiction, then move on to humanities, then go back and complete social science and natural science. This is going to conclude week number 3. Looking ahead to next week and beyond, now that you've got a benchmark really now of how well you would perform on the reading part of the ACT. If you didn't score as well as you'd like to score, or if there's a particular category of question or kind of passage that was really hard for you, then you should continue watching and working along with this ACT video series. Over the next few months, videos are going to feature passages and questions that we're going to read together and practice answering together. You're going to continue to learn tips, tricks, and strategies for accurately answering questions on the exam. My goal is to help you improve from where you are at as you have just measured with this pre-exam. At the end of the semester, you're going to take a post-test so that you can assess your growth over time. My hope is that however you score in December will be better than how you scored here in August and September. Thank you so much for tuning in to week number 3 of Reading ACT. I'm so excited to see you all next week as we really dive in and start reading passages and working with individual questions one-on-one. Thank you so much.